How are you feeling heading into the season? It was interesting hearing Trent talk about the emotions that the team had this time last year, and how different is it this time?
Yeah, obviously new group. So every year you go in with a couple of new players, but the group we've got this year, I think, coming off last season, we'd been in lockdowns and had been really uncertain the whole entire year, that off-season period, and then, coming into 2021, playing the season, we didn't quite finish how we wanted to, but had a really solid sort of off-season block, and our high performance manager Kate started a really great job of keeping everyone fit and motivated through that time. So coming into the season, most of the group was in a really, really good space and probably steps ahead of where we were this time last year. So the group's really fit and firing and ready to go.
I don't think any of the other captains picked you guys to be grand finalists, maybe given the form over the last few years. Most people probably expect you to be contenders. Any fire, any ammunition there for you guys?
Yeah, look, I don't think anyone's ever said that we were going to be contenders or be grand finalists or win it. So it's always nice to be a bit of that underdog feeling, and it certainly does give you a little bit of fire in the belly. I remember last year all the captains tried to stitch Freo up and say that we were going to be wooden spooners. So, it's a little bit of a banter, I reckon, from the East Coast.
That feeling that Trent talked about last year, coming off the disappointment from 2020, did you feel that in the group, that there was still a bit of maybe resentment and some entitlement that you might have deserved that opportunity you didn't get? Did you feel that?
Look, I think you never gifted anything in footy, and we certainly learnt that the hard way. And it certainly was a difficult time back then, but we tried to move on from that now because as you said, it doesn't matter, and you can't go back to that season. We had a great season, and that's all it is. And last year probably didn't have too much to do with that. We started the season pretty well and then just fell off towards the back end.
And in your first year as captain, obviously going on the road for the first kind of 5 or 6 rounds, how difficult a challenge is that for you?
Yeah, look, I'm super excited. I know a lot of the girls are really excited to actually go away, and we don't get the opportunity to be full-time athletes and never have before. We were supposed to go away last year for between 2 and 4 weeks, and we ended up going for 3 days. So we've never really had that opportunity. So I think a lot of the girls are relishing that opportunity of being a full-time athlete and just, being footy focused. A lot of the girls will work while they're over there, but there's a real excitement about it. And I guess there will become the challenges of that, and, going into states that have COVID that we haven't really had to deal with here, and we'll just sort of take it as it comes and basically be guided by the AFL and the protocols that the state governments bring in.
Hayley, last year probably a bit of a trend in the games was a bit slow to start, and then you'd come back firing and maybe not allow yourself enough time to get the eventual win. What sort of changed heading into this year to manage that?
Yeah, we certainly had a little bit of an issue last year with some slow starts, and to Trent and the coaching staff sort of credit, we've changed training a lot this year to try and, I guess, get going a little bit earlier in training to try and then obviously bring that into the game. So there has been some changes made to try and boost our performance like at the start of games, and then we know that we're an incredibly fit side, so we'll be able to run out the games.
And Cara mentioned that it's been nice for her to sort of relinquish the captaincy and be able to train with freedom. As the new captain, how are you going about making sure that your game doesn't change too much now that you've got that captaincy role?
Yeah, well, Cara herself has actually been a really good mentor for me, and look, I don't know how much the captaincy she's really let go of just yet, because I've definitely bounced a lot of ideas off her, and having her still there as a support network is incredible for me, and she's really put that emphasis on making sure that I look after my footy first, and then worrying about everyone else, and naturally you're going to try and do a little bit more as captain and try and make sure that everyone's feeling good and ready to go. But your number one is always if you're not performing, then it's really difficult to sort of bring the group along with you.
This derby, I mean, of course you go into it sort of undefeated against West Coast Eagles, but maybe there's a little bit of a change.
Yeah, look, they're a much improved side, certainly from last year, and you could see it last year in their game that they have these new girls coming in. They've got some great young players, and unfortunately a few injuries last year probably dampened their season a little bit. But look, there's always that rivalry there, and they certainly don't want to lose to them.
Obviously, you led the team out in the scratch match the other week, but this weekend your first official match as lead at Fremantle Oval in a derby. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Look, it's even more exciting for it to be, the RAC Derby. That's my first run out as captain, and I always sort of ran out just behind Juddy, so it's going to be a little bit different having to lead the girls out, but I'm super excited, and it's just an awesome opportunity to just get playing again, and that's what the group wants to do. We just want to get out there and play.
This pre-season, you've been one of the standout performers and look really angry at training and ready to make a mark. How do you feel your sort of comparative place now as opposed to previous pre-seasons?
Yeah, I think every pre-season you go around, you just get that little bit better and a little bit more confident and comfortable in where you're at. I think, for a long time I probably felt like I was a little bit out of depth, but I guess now I'm starting to, as captain as well, you start to believe in yourself and the reason why you're there, obviously, and bringing those younger players along. So, if I can show them, what the standard is at Freo, and then, hopefully they pick up those traits and bring them along with them.
And have the players had discussions about rules you might place on yourselves or anything like that when you're staying in Melbourne, things to avoid?
Yeah, not yet. We certainly will have those discussions once a lot more information comes to light. There's still a lot of uncertainty around that, and look, we're looking at to round one to start off with, and then early next week we'll go through all of that, and I'm sure there will be protocols put in place by the AFL and then by the respective state governments, and as well as our team rules to try and mitigate the risk of anyone catching COVID.
You spoke about as captain and focusing on your footy and making sure that doesn't suffer. But are you prepared to be a driver of those behaviours when you do get over east? Because I guess it's probably going to come from the top. Yeah,
absolutely. And look, I'm lucky I've got a really strong support network around me as well. So I don't feel like it's all a burden on myself. Turbo's right there next to me, Ange Stannett, young leader, and she absolutely drives the standards as well. And then you've got Cara and Ebony Antonio, who have left the leadership group, but they're just as much up the top there driving those standards. So I feel real confident in the group that we've got. We've got so many amazing leaders that, we'll be able to come together, galvanise as a group and move forward.
Any coin toss strategies? It always with the wind?
I can't disclose any of that. Secret.
Hayley, you got a tip for who's looking good as far as taking the premiership aside from yourselves?
Yeah, look, I think Melbourne, I've always looked at their group as one of the benchmarks. They, again, haven't been able to take that next step yet. They were incredible last year and obviously, showed us what that level was last year, unfortunately, for us. But I think, look, they're a quality side, and they've made some good recruits too, so they'll be hard to beat.